Can I answer 10 laundry questions in 10 minutes? Right, let me try. 1. Does cold air dry clothes? The answer is yes. You see, during cold season or cold weather, what causes the cold, chilly sensation is when water from your skin dries up and moves into the atmosphere, right? So when water from your skin evaporates into the atmosphere, it causes cold, it gives you that cold, chilly feeling. In like manner, water from wet clothes evaporating the atmosphere and causes it to dry or makes it dry. So yes, cold air do dry clothes. Like quickly to mention this, the cold air would likely dry clothes faster when the air is cold and dry. But if it is cold and humid or there is water in the atmosphere, it will still dry your clothes but at a far slower rate. Question 2. Can AC dry clothes? Yes, it's a big. I would say AC is probably the second or best way of drying clothes. Generally, ACs causes the atmosphere to be cold by removing moist air from the room. Hot, moist air from the room takes it out and replaces it with cold, dry air. So this process increases evaporation. Evaporation in turn causes anything in the atmosphere, whether a bucket of water, wet dishes, even your skin to dry up. In the same manner, if you put wet clothes in an AC room, in a room with air condition, the water from the clothes evaporates fast or even at a far faster rate than probably most other air drying methods. Question 3. Air drying versus dryer, which is better? Generally, air drying is better. Air drying is cheaper and it is passive. It is also good for your clothes because if you air dry clothes during sunlight also tends to disinfect your clothes. So air drying is cheaper. However, using a dryer is faster. It causes your clothes to dry at a far faster rate. I will not say it is passive because air drying too is passive. So the major difference is air drying is cheaper while dryer is faster. But when it comes to which is better on your clothes, air drying is a better way of drying clothes than using a dryer. Question 4. Do clothes dry faster in AC or outside? Generally, clothes dry faster outdoors. However, when the weather outdoors is wet or humid, then clothes dry faster with an AC. So for example, during your sunny summer days, during your sunny summer days, clothes tend to dry faster outdoors in about 3 to 5 hours. An average medium or heavy fabric dry between 3 to 5 hours. Whereas using an AC, it dries slower in about 8 to 12 hours. Of course, if you use your dry mode in your AC, it will dry faster in about 5 to 8 hours. But all the same, clothes dry faster outdoors and indoors. However, when the weather outdoors is wet, not cold, when it is wet, maybe during whether there's rainfall, snowfall, or there's mist or dewdrops outdoors, then your clothes will likely dry faster when you make use of an air condition. Question 5. Hot air versus cold air. Which dries clothes faster? Generally, it's hot air. It's a close call here. It's a close call. Hot air is usually associated with dryness. Hotness is associated with dryness. So hot air makes the weather to be less humid. But still, in some places, there are times when hot air might be associated with wetness. For example, if you live in tropical regions or if you live in an island, when the weather is hot, it's usually also humid because water from the sea around you evaporates the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is, although hot, it is humid, there's more water there. So during these kind of conditions, your cold air will be preferable. But generally speaking, hot air dries clothes faster. But if your cold air is cold and the weather is still humid, your cold air will still dry clothes fast for you too. So it's a close call, but I'll go in the favor of hot air more than cold air. Question 6. The clothes dry faster in humid weather. This is a no. No, it's an absolute no. There's no, however, if supporting this. Humidity means there's more water in the atmosphere. And so when the weather is humid, whether it is cold or it is hot, when the weather is humid, your clothes dry slower. So the answer to this question is no. It's a very simple question. Question number 7. Outdoors versus indoors. Where do clothes dry faster at night? Generally, outdoors. Clothes dry faster at night outdoors because there is more free flow of air, wind flow outdoors and indoors. But like we also mentioned, it still boils down to the temperature, the weather condition. If outdoors is wet, for example, during this winter or rainy seasons, then likely your clothes will dry far faster indoors and outdoors. Even on non-rainy days where there are no rainfall, if there's a high amount of dew drops or mist outdoors, your clothes will likely do better indoors. But there's a twist to this story. The twist is that there are times when your clothes dry faster outdoors at night, during the early hours of the night. But in the early hours of the morning, like from 4 a.m. till 6 a.m., there's more mist and more dew by this hour. So clothes that have dried between 8 p.m. till around 2, 3 a.m. in the morning tend to become wet by that early hours of the morning. So generally speaking, outdoors, but when the weather outdoors is wet, then your clothes will do better indoors. Question 8. What is the most important factor for air drying clothes? The most important factor for air drying clothes is humidity. You see, every other factors that causes clothes to air dry, be it weather temperature, wind flow, evaporation, they are all dependent on this single factor, humidity. But when the weather is less humid, whether the weather is hot or cold, there's wind or no wind, your clothes will definitely dry up. And if it is more humid, whether it is hot or cold, it will dry slower. So the most important factor when drying clothes is humidity. Question 9. Do clothes dry faster on AC or outside overnight? It's related to question 7 earlier on. Clothes dry faster outdoors overnight than in indoor. Like we mentioned, even overnight, if the weather is very humid outside, for example, the weather is very dry outside, for example, you will likely get clothes drier faster outdoors. But when the weather is wet, maybe from rainfall, when there's dews or mist outdoors, then your clothes will dry faster indoors, especially when using an AC. So the clothes dry faster on AC outdoors or outdoors overnight. The answer is outdoors when it is dry and AC when the weather is wet. Question 10. What is the best AC setting for drying clothes? The answer, simply put, is dry. And if you use HVAC, you can set dry settings on your HVAC, and it causes the air condition to absorb more moisture from the atmosphere. Of course, the best setting to use is your normal AC air condition setting. It dries clothes normally. But if you want your clothes to dry faster, then you should use dry. But most technicians will tell you not to always set your air condition to dry because it consumes more energy and it stresses your air condition more. But what is the best setting to use? If you want your clothes to dry faster, it is dry. But if you want your clothes to dry, if you want your AC to work optimally, then you should use your normal air condition setting. And mostly if you use an HVAC, it will do well on your clothes. Your clothes will dry fast enough without putting added stress on your air condition or your electricity bills. So I hope I've been able to answer these 10 questions in 10 minutes or less. Let's see.